Yes, hello everybody. We've all met. So yeah, kind of to what Mark was saying, effectively this solves the problems for us that we're coming up against, which is just communications, kind of flattening that out and making it simple. A lot of times we talk about, I don't know, most of our jobs, it's always like everything's in this silo, we have to spread it so everyone has access. In this instance, there's a lot of different projects going on with a lot of different directors and members of couplet firms. So effectively, we need one dashboard to have all of those conversations and to reference. So a lot of times it's, if you deal with email, you understand having to search through back months, and then those change get just completely separated and modified. So this is a very simple way for us to capture all the information, speak about all the information, and also reference and have kind of a guide. Jonathan, oh cool, Jonathan is here. So as he connects, I'll kind of jump back for a second. Has he used Asana? Hey, John.
Hey.
Just getting started. So just recap what I just said. Effectively, this lets us solve a lot of problems as far as communication, referring, and accountability. I'm just giving us a good structure. So I think of Asana as a to-do list with other options that we can leverage or use. So what we see right now is the main dashboard, and I've just been building things out. So just as an example, like for the holiday party, actually, let me jump back really quick. So these are all the different projects that I have. This home dashboard is nice because it shows you everything. So as far as the interface goes, this left-hand column is where you're going to have all of your tabs effectively. So my task is because it will filter out everything related to any of the projects that's assigned to me or that I have started and have ownership of. So I can really quickly see, okay, I know this plant sale's coming up, and then I have this other opportunity that we're trying to, put together. What do I need to action now in the limited 2 hours that I have to dedicate at this moment? I can jump in and see what are the 2 tasks or 5 tasks I can accomplish now and that are due at a particular time, how they relate. So it's very nice in that way. The inbox is cool because this will help you see the conversations that you're having and also any kind of notifications or alerts, which we'll kind of dive into here in a little bit. So it relates to the tasks that you've got. And we effectively can have a team per project or per organization, which is couplet firm will be the organization. Just for Mark, we'll have reporting depending on what tier we have. And then there's some other options too, but keeping it simple and high level. Like I've got the holiday party here. So I'll just go through and kind of show you guys what that would look like if I was starting a new project. So I can jump up to this plus here. And I can create tasks, projects. I can message someone if I have a question about things, or I can invite someone in, which is nice if we take on more members, interns, someone who's a little more fluid and not actually primarily involved. So if we have like a vendor partner that we're working with, we can invite them in to give them visibility to a particular board or a particular section of something. And then they can stay up to date so we don't have to text and call and email. And again, like communications are sort of spread across 5 different places. This helps keep it all in one. You can start blank projects. They have cool templates. You can import stuff from CSV and all those things. If you're familiar, that works. The templates are nice because eventually we can create a template for ourselves. So if we know these are the 10 things we always have for a plant sale, and there's like 4 or 5 different options maybe that we add in manually, that just cuts a lot of that work out. So new project, plug in the option, click use template, and it pops right up. So that's really key and really nice. So we'll just use a basic event planning option here as a template and a guide. So we'll say CF holiday 30. You can make it public. I just started a group called design just because that's how I was kind of doing it. You can make them private to yourself, which is nice. So what I do for my job, I have a private list that nobody else on my team can see because that's just my stream of consciousness, and I kind of reflect what I write down. I try to make sure that those sort of mirror at least, and then I have a reference because this also works on the desktop, which is what we're looking at now as far as software. It works in your phone with an application, and it also works How did I turn that flashlight off? And it also works in the browser. So that's really nice because it's going to be agnostic as far as like the technology type. So you can jump into a web browser, do what you need to do. So you can kind of access everywhere. All right, I'll stop rambling about that. So you create the project. It brings you into the primary project itself. You can jump up here in the top left and you can change the icon, and that can be something just for yourself. That can be something that shows for everybody. So for the holiday party, I liked the ticket. We'll do green because it's for that holiday. And then it's going to give you quick little example tasks, and that'll kind of give you more information about what's possible and what's directly already turned on as far as features go, which is really nice. So we'll jump into adding a task or a new section. So let's see, we want to make sure we've got the potluck set up. So I'll make a new section for that. There's a little tab here. I can change how these order and filter. You can also click and collapse the accordion stuff. So that's kind of the interface. Just I want to make it look more simplified. Here in the particular task, kind of like a spreadsheet, you're going to have columns where you can sort. You can also add custom fields, which is really nice. So what I'm using now is going to be something everyone would have access to, which is kind of like the freemium free version. For the first 30 days, it gives you all the features, of course, so they can, entice you to get the new paid subscription. But this is what it's going to look like for everybody as far as functionality goes. But it's really nice because you've got filter and sort options. You can add custom things for what we would like to do, and so on. So in the particular category for the project, I can add in this section a task. So we'll say someone's bringing ice. You hit enter, it'll pop down. Someone's bringing cups, plates, pizza, pie, that kind of stuff. So then as we're going through and everyone's responding to emails, then you have to kind of go through, and it takes a lot of time to filter out and see like who did what, where, and when. I can just jump in here and I can assign this to somebody. I'll assign it to myself. The reason I want to assign it to Cleo, she's the one that was helping me kind of play with this a little more, is it will send you an email notification. So you can control a lot of that stuff so it's not just bombarding you. Depending on the project, depending on the particular task, you can adjust that so you're not just being spammed with things that aren't necessarily useful for you. But it's really nice. So you can set due dates. You have due dates for particular things. That's where jumping out of just the tasks up here in the menu of the project, you have a couple of options. So overview is nice. You can set particular members of the project here. So I can say, I'm the project owner. And then I have someone, hey, they're in charge of the potluck information. Someone else is in charge of the venue. So if I need to reference like, hey, I've got a question about X, Y, Z, who's got the parking set up? How do I get that information? I can jump into the overview and I can see, okay, it's John, let me in contact with John. And I can literally just jump up here, send him a message, say @John, and type my message out. What's really nice about this and referencing to email, you can attach files. So I want to send him like, hey, here's the itinerary I have. Is this going to work? Will that accommodate the amount of parking we have? Then he could send me, say, the version of the parking map so that people understand, like once they get to the address, like how do I go? Where do I navigate? Where do I walk? That kind of stuff, especially for like plant sales. It's like, okay, where am I going? There's just a general kind of layout. And that's the kind of stuff that we would include in the project brief. So again, just making it super simple that we can reference. And what's nice about templating this is we don't have to do this every single time. As far as like manually jumping in and adding like, here's a summary of the project, here's the background of what we're trying to do, say for the Oviedo project we're working on now. So someone who jumps in, they can get up to speed like 80% without us having to have that conversation every time, especially for longer projects, which is really nice. And there's just kind of templated basic stuff here, but you can add in and change the title of things that you want. So you're not like stuck to that, which is really cool. So the project brief is really nice because then everybody is kind of on the same page. So if you do add somebody into say like an email chain, they've got to fit out. And honestly, most people aren't going to go back and read 2 months worth of email chains. And then it's going to be a little easier for communication. So overview is really nice, quick reference for things. You can jump into your list of everything you've already got. That's kind of traditional. And then once something is done, you check it off, and that's it. So you can also filter this out. So you can see just tasks that are due. You can add another custom filter if you want to get really granular. You can tell it not to show things that are already checked off. I like having it this way where you can see everything. So I know, like, oh my gosh, did I do that one thing 2 weeks ago? Oh yeah, that's already done. Cool. And speaking to that, you can also set milestones. So say once we have all of this done, and I want to set, like just say completed, you can turn this into a milestone. So it will then affect something else. And that gets a little more involved. So actually, scratch that. I didn't say those things. I'm trying to keep this high level. So the views is essentially what this gives you. So the overview is nice for referencing and seeing who's responsible for what. The list just lets you look through all the details. The board is cool because it gives you kind of like a card sorted view. Like I'm a little more visual typically, so that's my style of learning. And if I need to take something and pop it somewhere else, I can do that. So for instance, if it is like a list of plants that we have for sale coming up, or particular items, I can say, okay, cool, that's already done. This item is this vendor, and so on. So it makes it pretty simple. And then if you want to add a section, you can do so here. Say like order, say green aisles. I'm not the best at spelling, so if I spell something wrong, apologies. So add task, be like order plants, verify pre-orders. And then you can also jump in and set subtasks. So if this one item takes 4 different tasks to accomplish overall, it's like, cool, I need to coordinate with this person and so on. You can set those up. And then again, even in these subtasks, you can assign due dates, you can assign a specific individual. Let's type something so it's there. And then you can also message about it, which is cool. But what's really nice is if I'm talking about like verifying pre-orders with Mark, I can jump in here and talk about it right in this task. So later, if I need to reference like, man, we were talking about, I don't remember what we specified, I can jump back in here and I can see, and it's going to keep like a running tab. So I'll just add Clio. And then any questions while I type this up, because I know I've been talking a lot.
So when you tag somebody or when you add somebody, does it automatically send an email to their inbox saying you have an Asana notification, or is it just all in this, or you can opt out of that and it can just stay in this ecosystem?
Yes, exactly. And if you want, I can invite somebody and then you'll see kind of what that looks like.
Okay. Can you do live chats through here? Like, can you video conference people?
Not directly. Actually, I think that's like a feature. Most of these kinds of platforms now have that integrated. So for instance, like Slack, that's just for chats. Now they've got voice chat, which is incredible. It's as good as our voice over IP application I use for work. And then they also do video chat, just like Zoom, like this. So it's not something that I'm aware of that they're doing now. I'm sure we can definitely get integration. But what's really nice is if we want to have like a dedicated Zoom room, we can just pop that in the brief, and then you can reference that and say, hey, meet me in the Zoom room. You can just click the link from the brief, and then you're there.
Oh, wow.
Which is really, yeah, that's what I mean. Like this can be pretty powerful. So you can insert media, like other kinds of table structures if you want to have like just information to reference, or you can add specific people on there.
Cool. My only concern is that if we take on this platform, text messaging is not going anywhere. Facebook's not going anywhere. Our Google Calendar is not going anywhere, but it seems like we're going in like, different directions. I'd like something to kind of umbrella everything that we do. I can just send a simple text message to the group saying, hey, check your Asana. There's some updates for this particular project that you want to probably take a look at and see what you think about it. But I want to keep it simple. I would like this. It feels like it'll be a good sandbox, but I'd also like it to capture, just basic communication and cut down the endless email chains and back and forth and all that, one and done. Everybody's in the loop. They actually understand the evolution of the project. Latest updates, they're up to speed. Even if something happens in their life, they're gone for a week, they can come back, they can check into the project and they're like, oh, I'm up to speed. Everything's, according to plan, or here, just a few changes that, I need to expect for next Saturday, kind of like that.
Exactly. And that's where I like this filtering options here. So like my tasks, I can see what's been assigned to me and go, oh, okay, I need to jump in and take a look at these. At the new project, I can jump into that specifically and then see like, okay, in this overview, like, okay, cool. I'm assigned as a project manager. All right, so I got to make sure familiar. And the inbox is cool because that's going to show you any of those direct pings kind of in here.
Like, for example, your teammates on the call here, Sarah is really interested in improving sales all around. She enjoys sales. So she'll be involved in plant sales. She'll be involved in membership sales, merchandise sales. She just likes sales in general. So she may need a small little project just for her and, the team that she builds around it. Cleo will help with merchandising. Jonathan's going to take over events. But, those people will be attracted to her specific project because her umbrella item is sales in general, how to improve those, across the board. So I like it. I'm sold. I mean, she's laughing, but ha to you too, Sarah. Yeah, I'm sold. You guys want to try like a little project together? Do you want to do like the holiday social tomorrow? Do you want to do the plant rescue on Saturday? You want to like test run this? I'd like you all to like, chorus and tell me exactly what you would prefer. What do you guys want to do? You guys are all coming to the social tomorrow. The social is easy. You want to start with something easy or you want to start with something hard?
I mean, I would say the social. Let's just start easy.
Easy. All right, so let's do social. So Stephen, just start one from scratch. You can do holiday social one or call it whatever you want.
Yep.
So
top right, I'm gonna start a new project. So blank project, we'll go from there and just kind of see. So project name, we'll say holiday social. We're gonna make that public. Just to make that simple. And you can set like a default view. So for instance, if it's something that's time sensitive, that's a paid premium thing, but it will show you, quick reference, when I jump into that board, am I on track? And that's where complexity adds in, but cool. We'll keep it simple again, sorry. So we're gonna start adding some tasks.
All right, so tomorrow, I come in at 5 to help set up. So add in a task for that.
Cool. So what was it? On site. Okay, cool. Here, we'll do this. We'll just do setup.
Okay, yeah, great. So with setup, under setup, I'll come in at 5. Barbara will come in at 5:30. Al will be there at 5:30. And Sandy will be there at 5:30.
Hey, Raul, said 5 p.m. Or was it 5:30?
I'll be there early. I got to pick up the keys. They lock up the office at 5, so I need to pick up the keys before they lock up the office.
Cool. And then if you want to start, once you make it quick and simple for things, so you don't have to like jump down to a particular section once projects get bigger, you can just start typing and adding tasks and then jump in and then add it to a particular section that's already been created. So if it's in your mind and you get to, because for me, I'll get distracted if I'm like spend 5 minutes looking for the section. I can just jump in here and like boop, boop, all the items that are on front of mind, and then I can jump in and then add them to that section that they correspond with.
Okay,
Um,
I like it.
so cool.
All right.
All right. So we got
So-
setup, we got breakdown.
So John is gonna come at, I think John will be there by like 6. He'll bring in the plans because the event starts at 6:30.
Cool. Is it JOHN or JON?
It's just JON. He's Jonathan.
Yeah, just JON.
So he'll be there at 6. He'll be dropping off plans. And Jonathan, I just saw your email. So plant descriptions are where you describe the plant that's being highlighted. Here's wild petunia. It likes bright shade, wet to seasonally dry soils. It blooms during the summer, and it happens to be the larval host for XYZ butterfly. That's really a plant description in a nutshell.
Okay, like live, not like printed out or anything to
Exactly.
give to
Just
someone.
live. Just live. Yeah. And they go fast. I mean, take Barbara's cue. She goes through it pretty quickly. Just watch the clock. Don't go into overtime. You only have 20 minutes for 20 plants. 1 minute per plant or 30 seconds per plant is more than enough. And all the funds go to raise money for the EcoCam. So that's always good. All right, so Al and Barbara will be there at 5:30. They'll be setting up holiday decor. I'm leaving that in their capable hands. So they're going to be in charge of holiday decor. John is bringing in plants. So is Barbara. Stephen is doing AV. So you're bringing in the music, you're bringing in the laptop, and
Yep.
that's it. Microphone they have a projector and a screen. They have all those good stuff. You just have to bring in music. And unfortunately, their Wi-Fi is a little not reliable, unfortunately, but I mean, I can hotspot if necessary. Lanishka will be there at, go ahead.
I'm going to bring the essentially the audio and my laptop, and then I'll have an iPad that's going to be fully charged, and that'll have the list for all the stuff there for music, and I can hotspot it from my phone. It doesn't take very much data, and
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too, if necessary. Yeah, we're good.
Cool.
And then Nish will be there closer to 6:30 with food, and she'll drop it off at the buffet, and that's that. Sarah is also going to be there closer to 6:30. She's going to bring whatever she wants. I think she's bringing ice, so she'll drop off the ice at 6:30.
That's at like something like this,
Mhm.
and you can add like the link with the address, so everyone can just like click and like you can pop up on your phone, which is great.
Cool.
So adding all the details in the project brief to be quick and simple. So that's where us doing this a few times and then deciding together what makes the most sense. We can make that a template that then that format we start with every time, and like here's the basics, and then we can modify as we go.
How do we duplicate a project so that we can use it as a template?
Oh, great question. I think it's here. Yeah, duplicate. You can duplicate it. You can convert it to a template. That's a more advanced feature.
Oh,
Portfolios we don't talk about, but yeah.
okay.
You can edit a whole bunch, which is really nice. Yeah, it's very simple.
Excellent.
So, and then you can favorite something, and then it'll pop up here, which is nice. So if I know I like for work, when I add a new client or project for like a website, like I pop it over here because that's current. But you can always jump to home and see everything that's going on for your recent projects or for your team. Yeah, they've even got task views here, but my tasks is really nice because you can kind of see what's happening. But yes, cool. Well, yeah, so files is a good tab too. So anything that's attached file wise, will show up here. So it's a quick, easy way so you don't have to go to each single task to kind of filter through and say, oh, here's the itinerary, here's the location details, whatever we got to reference is there. So yeah, like Messenger, it's not going to be like instantaneous, but if you have alerts set up, you'll get that on there. So it'll just be kind of best practices for us to do that.
Cool.
Understand like, hey, let's start the conversation here, or if we're chatting somewhere else, say, hey, let's have this conversation in our Asana so we can reference it if need be. Or you can just add that in.
Outstanding. So projects are good. Projects are easy. They'll just cut back on a lot of emails, and
Yeah,
it's just the latest
exactly.
updated thing that you'll see in Asana. And then you'll also get to see all the concurrent projects that we have.
Yep.
So
And if you want to see part of it, you just jump in, you can see all the members. You want to invite a new member, you literally just go to share. And if you have those permissions, which that's something we didn't touch on, but you've got different
yeah.
admin or
yeah,
permissions, which is
good
really
with
nice.
permissions, guys. I'm no Nazi when it comes to those things. I mean, you guys, it's your sandbox, so there shouldn't be any barriers. If you guys want to, alter something, experiment, and figure out a new way to do it, and a permission is prohibiting you from experiencing that, it's my job to give you access so that you can play with it as much as you want. Cool. What other nifty features does Asana have besides projects?
I mean, essentially, that's it. I mean, the reporting is really nice once we get more high level, so we can kind of see, okay, for this quarter, what's our total completed, as far as tasks go,
That's
especially once we
awesome.
have templates, it'll make more sense. And like setting goals and things like that too for particular objectives. If we have something like we want to accomplish, like we want to set up 3 demonstration gardens this year, that can be sort of a goal we set, and you can link those to projects when they're created or stuff like that. So it really sort of simplifies a lot of the admin side. I'm all about doing things and not doing admin work. The more I get into like corporate stuff. So
Who's going to admin this? Is the buck going to stop here again?
so that's a great question, but that's where we can assign roles so people will understand like, hey, one of the directors or one of the members, like, hey, you're responsible for XYZ, and that can be a part of a little brief. So I even think we can do board meetings in here, which might be kind of nice, because then if we add new tasks, it's simple. And if we want to keep duplicating, the boards the way that we do, we can do that just to reference back.
Yes.
So there's a history. I haven't really used that too much, but that kind of shows you like the most recent items you've interacted with, I think. But yeah.
Easy.
I mean, overall, like I said, it's pretty simple. It can get more complicated because the notion is like nesting tasks within tasks, which gets really kind of like, how do I get to that item? So trying to keep everything very general, but we don't do anything that's overly complex. I don't think that would be a problem. But
how does this look on your phone, if I may ask? Most of the time we're on our phones more so than we are behind our desktop.
And as you'll see, I use the dark theme for everything.
I love the dark feature.
I really appreciate the dark theme.
Me too.
Thank you. Same.
Just easy on the eyes.
Oh,
yes.
man.
Yes.
Already.
I've only had one coffee. Let me turn off my blur.
So if everyone had this app on their phone, you could essentially send the message and we would all get it.
Exactly. You get the alert. It looks the same. So all the tab options are here. So like home, tasks, inbox, all of that's down there. I can message people. So effectively, it's everything that we see here, just without, all the complexity. I don't do a lot of like work in here. I'll do everything on the computer when I can. And then if I'm on site with a customer or in route between stuff, I can quickly jump in, and it'll also give you the alerts, just like reminders or a task would in an application on your phone. So it makes it quick and simple. I like being able to just jump in and say, cool, what are my tasks? Cool, what's due now? And you can kind of see like, oh, well, I can't work on one project. What's due next week that I can? Well, I've got this 35 minutes to work on it. You can go through and do it.
I love it.
And then see what's related. You can jump straight to that particular project by clicking on that. I don't know if that was, so I could say, cool, got John, got plant sale, click, takes me right into the project. So it simplifies having to, go to tasks or go to like home and find the project that you're working on and then yada, yada. But yeah, they've got basic trainings and stuff too. So their training resources are quite robust. Work's gotten very busy. I'm like 2/3 of the way through being like certified in Asana. So the more that I learn, the more I can share with you guys, and it'll just make it a lot more easy to use.
Question: if we lose internet and we're still working in Asana, will it save your work on the computer, and then once internet is restored, it will upload it back to the cloud and sync everything up?
I love that. I love that question. I don't have a direct answer, but I would assume, because this is pretty fine now, that it will do that. That it will save that offline, especially if you're using the software version of the application like I am. But if you're using the browser app, that's where I think it would get a little gray. But I think if you still have that browser tab open, it should reinitialize itself. But that's a really good question.
Great. Cool. So John, what do you think, man? So it doesn't feel like we're gonna escape Zoom and Google Calendar outright, but it does feel like we're gonna escape the barrage of emails back and forth and a lot of text messages back and forth. I can just type something as simple as check your Asana and leave it at that. You can move on with your day. I can move on with my day. You get around to it whenever you can. You can pull it up on your phone. You can check it whenever you want. Is this going to work for you?
Yeah, I think it's good for keeping track of projects. And like Steven said, it'd be good for board meetings.
Like when you, Steven, can you elaborate about board meetings? Because with the board, I must have minutes. Minutes are, it's the function of an organization to have minutes. So when you say this,
absolutely.
do you mean like a split screen where we're actually adding in tasks in real time as we discuss them? And is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the cool thing is everyone has visibility to that project. So as we're adding and subtracting, checking things off, unchecking things to add them back in to dig in further, that's all live and everyone can access it. And then if we want to have particular information into, let's see, the project itself for that can be part of the overview for each meeting. So if we want to then just duplicate the board every time for that particular item, we can check what we can actually decide to bring over or not. So we don't have to bring things we don't need, but
cool. I love it.
You can click and grab that stuff there. I think you can add multiples. Oh no, this is for the documents, yeah. But you can add links to the other resources in other documents or other projects. Yeah. And like I said, this can get fairly complicated, but I feel just for the things we're doing like plant sales and to eliminate having to dig through emails, because I know for me that's a frustration, and just kind of like, communication being distributed in general. So kind of bring that together and add the accountability component. Because also selfishly, it's really nice for me to jump in and say, what are the tasks that I'm working on? You go, oh, that's right, that fell through the cracks. Let me grab this, or help somebody else with something when I don't, because you have visibility to it. So yeah, I think it'll help us be a little more effective.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Kind of to your point about like pinging someone and saying, hey, I assigned something to you. When you receive it, you can just like something, which is cool. And that can be our notification of, I've seen it, I'm aware of it, and it's assigned to you. So it's going to show up in your tasks or in a message for your inbox, that kind of thing.
Love it.
Any other questions or thoughts?
No, I'll start using it. I'll set up like the next plant sale for February and let you know if I have any questions, actually using it.
Sweet. Yeah, free to invite me to a project that you create or whatnot. I know, Mark, you said you were going to look at getting the stuff together for the organization. So I don't know if we're going to do that through our Couplet Fern emails or.
Yeah, a
Or
couple of current emails. So I replied, so I need to just hear back from them.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can definitely do that under personal emails just to play with it. But like I said, you'll have some features because they give you the full version for 30 days for free to entice you to become a subscriber. But yeah, the basic functionality of assigning things, keeping accountability, having a task list that's shared that everyone can reference, and we can add in interns or other members in the future to the same project is really nice.
Cool. Lanishka, a question.
So,
Like,
yeah.
how would you, what kind of project are you thinking about? Like, I know you're, I think rescues appeal to you, like, or encouraging developments to implement more native plants into their.
Oh yeah, for sure. Enticing everyone to plant more
Yeah.
natives and stuff.
Yeah, I
Put
got
it on.
a real
Yes.
cool idea I wanted to share with you. And there was, it was called a new development packet. Somebody had floated this idea and I thought it was genius, where if they're about to develop a property, it was old citrus or, it was just a bunch of invasive plants and they're just like, screw it, we're just going to put some houses on here. They floated an idea saying we should just develop a packet that we can give them information on, just making it super easy to order 200 red maples for the entire subdivision. Or you want oaks, we got oaks. You want persimmon, we got persimmon. You want fruiting trees that are native, we got that. You want a mix of them, you want a rough draft of what a traditional ranch style house in the South can hold as far as the number of trees, shrubs, grasses. Here's a idea. We're really behind on the times here in Florida. I mean, up in Massachusetts, they're already doing it. But
I'm a part of some like native pollinator groups, and it says native pollinators, but it has all sorts of different states, and a lot of different states are already doing that. They're saying, well, this is the traditional house for the area. This is what would fit here. And it's very streamlined. Like, these are the nurseries that you contact. This is, it's all there.
Yeah. So
Incredible.
Sky's the limit. I mean, as if you are really thinking about your project for next year, use Asana and put it to work. We're here to support you. You're not alone. We will give you the resources, but just like everybody else on the call knows, if you're passionate about something, you are expected to chase it, meaning you're behind the steering wheel. We're just, the passengers in the car.
That's really interesting. That's definitely something up my alley.
Awesome. And first year, Lanishka, just, John is in his first year, Steven's in his first year. They're all over the place, and that's totally fine. It's like you're in the kiddie pool, so just enjoy. Sarah will be also in her first year. Just enjoy, do whatever you want, participate in whatever you want, and then by the second year, you'll have a clear idea of what do you want to do with your nonprofit time and how you want to develop your own nonprofit portfolio. It's so important that we think of this as a fun, but also an investment in our personal growth.
Yeah, definitely. I had one question. So essentially, are you guys going to try to move the current projects that we have to Asana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, they're all over the place. They're buried in minutes. Some of them are on Facebook, especially the programs. It's really scattered. Some of them are, quite frankly, just in my head. I mean, that's scary, right? That's scary. I mean, like, what if I get T-boned by a truck, later on this
Stop.
evening. That project's gone with me to the ICU. No, it's bad because I have limited time as well, and I just can't. As things get busier, I'm getting bogged down with emails quite a bit, and I'm like working on something, and I see an important email come into my inbox, and I'm like, oh, I got to address this right now, before it evolves any further. So it's splitting my attention in not a constructive way. So I'm looking at Asana to say, okay, this is a closed sphere. I open it up. My focus and attention is on this. I'm not focused on emails anymore because that's in a separate window. I can just work on this, close it out, and then I can go back to my emails. So that way my mind is straight. The older I get, I don't like being in like 5 different directions. I think it's quality is better than quantity.
Agreed.
Yeah. So yeah, I just am, Sarah, what do you think? Quiet lady, you got your microphone on, or are you going to chat with me in the chat box? She's going to type something, but I'd like to know, Sarah, if this is something you are, she says, super. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for your vote of confidence. I appreciate that. Yeah, as long as you use it, that's all that matters. Use it, play with it, make it your castle. I'm good with that. Over time, it'll refine itself and we'll become pros at it. But you got to toy with it in order to say, okay, now I got my head in the game. All right.
It's flexible.
Go ahead.
It's flexible, so it can accommodate however you like to structure your tasks, your projects, your lists of things. We all do that different, so that's why having those different ways to filter the views and reorder things is really nice. So it helps everybody work the way that they need or want.
Cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, we're right on the dot, 45 minutes. I wanted to touch base on the